Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match preview of AC Milan against Sampdoria. Match that will be played tomorrow, February 5th at 12:30 p.m. Italian time at the San Siro in Milan. Of course, it is a lunchtime match. That means an earlier wake-up call for some of us, especially ones living maybe in Australia, in Asia, and most importantly in North America like me. I'm gonna have to wake up pretty early for this one, but it is a very important match for the Rossoneri, especially considering the fact that we've had a very, very dark month of January. This is going to be the start of a new month, hopefully a month in which we'll be able to get some wins because, like Montella mentioned at the beginning of the 2017, he said that the month of January and February will be the most important months to pretty much decide our fate in the rest of the season. And I truly believe those words because we've had a very rough month of January. We picked up a lot of negative results in that month. And really, I think this month will dictate where we will be able to finish at the end of the season. Like I said, there are some very important games to be played this month against competition in which we're currently battling against for an European position, such as Lazio and Fiorentina. Teams that are very tough to beat, and we have a very tough team to beat just the same way tomorrow at the San Siro because it is Sampdoria, a team that of course is not doing well in the Serie A, but like many other times we struggle to beat teams that are not doing well in the Serie A for various reasons. Simply, there's just way too many to list, so I wouldn't be able to give you the complete list there. But Sampdoria have pulled a great upset against Roma last weekend, and they will look to bounce and continue in that direction, really. And to form really some sort of positive streak going on for them. And like I said, it's really not been a good season for them, but they will want to continue their streak just like they did against Roma. Now, speaking about Milan, it will be a very decimated team, and what I mean by that, you guys probably heard it in the news. You guys, especially the ones that have been following the team in recent weeks, you guys may all know that Milan will be missing a lot of players, and this is due to numerous injuries, especially to our starters. Bonaventura got injured last week against Udinese. He will be out for the rest of the season. De Sciglio and Antonelli will also not be present in this game. They will be out for a few games themselves. And therefore, there's really a lot of problems, a lot of questions to be answered for Montella on who will be starting this game and who will he go on forward, really, in terms of playing in which position. Abate is also another name that we still don't know whether he will be fully fit to start this game, even though he did get called up. But like I said, there's still a lot of question marks for this team, and like I said, these chances, or at least these players missing in these games and games to come, will definitely show in where we will be able to finish. What I mean by that is that I believe that all these players that will be missing will prove to be impactful to our chances of whether we make it to the Europa League or not. At the moment, lots of you are still kind of optimistic that we could actually make it to the Champions League. I personally don't think so, but the Europa League, it's still a very attainable target, and we should definitely go for that. Also, Inter's playing Juventus this weekend, so it's a chance for us to make up some ground on them, and I definitely hope that Milan do take their chances. Now, Milan defensively hasn't been doing well at all in that past month of January. Like I said, it was a very dark month. But more importantly, we were conceding every game 2 goals on average. We conceded that against Udinese, Napoli, Juventus, Torino. It's really been a goal feast for other teams against us. We really weren't capable of playing very strong in the defense. And same thing goes for our attackers, as we weren't capable of scoring many goals. we were actually restricted to only scoring 1 goal per game in the recent few games. And that definitely needs to change. That statistic needs to change. We need to score more. We need to concede less. That is pretty much the formula that Montella and his men need to perfect in order to get a chance in winning games, because recently it hasn't been going right for us. Really, since the beginning of the year, it hasn't been going right for us. Sure, we did make a comeback win in the Coppa Italia against Torino there in the round of 16. Sure, we did beat Cagliari thanks to a late goal coming in from back at the beginning of January. But besides that, it's been absolutely awful from what we've seen from our team. And that all needs to change against Sampdoria. But without further ado, let's take a look at the probable starting 11 for Milan, because I did mention that we could be expecting a lot of changes. So let's take a look at it and let's discuss this formation further on. So in net, obviously Donnarumma will be starting. The right back position is currently undecided. We still don't know whether Kuchka or Abate will be playing. Like I said before, Abate did get called up to this game. However, it's still not for sure whether he will be starting this match or not. Kuchka has been tried out in that right back position, as well as Poli, but it looks like Kuchka will be taking Abate's place if Abate is deemed not fit. Paletta and Zapata will be playing as the center backs, at least that's what it seems for now, and Romagnoli will be playing on the left side there in the defense. And like I said, Di Scio and Antonelli are both missing for a few weeks now. The only other option would be Vangioni to be played on the left side. So it seems that Romagnoli was really tried out a lot in this past week to play in that position, and we could expect it to play as a left back player for the back line. Zapata and Paletta making up the center backs, like I said before. Not too sure about Zapata playing in that position, but unfortunately we're very decimated in terms of who we could be playing in those positions, even though I would probably choose Gustavo Gomez over him at the moment, since he was at least playing more this season. But it seems to be that Montella will be going with Zapata instead of him. Let me know what you think about all those defensive changes in the comment section below. As for the midfield, Pasalic is more than likely to start in that right mid role, especially considering the fact that Kuchka could be playing as the right back. Sosa will be starting in the middle, Bertolacci on the left. Up front, we'll be seeing Suso, Bacca, and Deulofeu, of course, replacing the injured Bonaventura. So not a very convincing lineup, if you ask me. Of course, like I said, we have way too many injuries, and we need to replace those specific players with others. I was particularly curious as to why Montella would choose Jose Sosa instead of Locatelli. The only real explanation would be that Locatelli will probably need some time off. Obviously, due to the recent games that he's played, his performance has not been the best. He picked up a very dumb, I guess, red card against Juventus, and against Udinese he did give a cheap goal away to them, but that we all knew about. I guess Montella wants to give him some time out and really make him focus on some other aspects of the game. Maybe, give him a timeout, make him relax a bit. I think a lot of attention and confusion has been put on him in recent weeks, so he wants to play Jose Sosa. I don't see this as a really bad option considering the team that we are facing. Jose Sosa has been contributing a bit more to the attack than I would have expected in the games that he recently played. Obviously not to perfection, but I think that he could still improve his game, and I think that he could still contribute to the midfield and to the attack as well. We'll be seeing exactly what Montella wants to do with him tomorrow if he does indeed start this game. Bertolacci will also be returning to the starting 11. We haven't seen him for a few games now, so we'll see what the introduction of Bertolacci will mean for this Milan team once again. Deulofeu will have to get his cards right in this game as well. He knows that he's more than likely to be playing a lot of games now. At the beginning, he was supposed to be a backup, but now that Bonaventura will be out for the season, you could expect him to be playing a lot more on that left side. Also, Ocampos will be called up to this game. He has been called up by Montella, and whether or not we will be seeing some minutes from him tomorrow all remains to be seen. But that was the probable starting 11 for Milan. Like I said, very debatable in some choices. Also, on the other hand, not much Montella could do due to all the injuries that he has. But like I said, I'm not fully convinced by this lineup. Sampdoria seems like a hungry team, especially after that win against Roma. And they're pretty sure that they could pick up another upset tomorrow at the San Siro. Milan is going to have to win this match in whichever way that they can. I'm not really expecting them to have the best of performances against a very hungry Sampdoria side, like I mentioned. So, really, I think Sampdoria will make life difficult for Milan. It's their task to really find a way to break through Sampdoria and get a win. A very crucial win it would be against this team to start off February on the right foot. Let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments section below. Let me know your thoughts on the probable starting 11. Do we have the right starting 11? Do you think it's good enough to beat Sampdoria at our home ground tomorrow at the San Siro? Let me know all of that in the comments section, and I'll be reading your comments for the next few minutes. Abdul says, at this point, Sosa is more of a certainty than Locatelli, but I'm sure it will help him to remotivate himself and push to reclaim a starting position. That's exactly what Montella could be thinking of in terms of benching Locatelli for this game. He needs to give him a timeout. He's been playing really week in and week out, a lot of games for a guy that at the beginning of the season probably didn't know that he was going to be playing this much. So I think he definitely needs a rest, he needs to relax, and needs to really rethink about his performances. I think this will be doing good to Locatelli. At the same time, he could be subbed in for Jose Sosa if Jose Sosa is having a terrible game. But I still believe that Jose Sosa has some things to show for Milan. Let's recall that Montella didn't want to give him away despite the interest from Turkish clubs such as Fenerbahce this January, and that is of course for one reason only. He was thinking of keeping him to playing him more and more. So this could be maybe a starting point for Jose Sosa. Like I said, competition is a must in teams. So having multiple players playing in that same position definitely creates competition and definitely pushes each player to do better than the other. Moving on, Muriel is gonna rape our defense, says Mikel. Our defense is definitely not that good. Muriel, very speedy player. The only real thing that I could see there is Kuchka playing on the right. I think he could help the defense out. We've seen him, I don't remember if it was against Udinese, if Abate came off, or was the game before that. But Kuchka did some very good things when he was playing in that right back position. You could definitely see the physical levels being implemented in that defense. And many times, people were also criticizing Abate for his performances because it seemed like Kuchka had to cover for him even defensively at times. He wasn't capable, or at least he hasn't been capable all season round, Abate, to really play that well defensively for Milan. Definitely, he has shown some positive signs at times, but more times than not, he has been lacking in that position, and a lot of it has to be desired for Abate. Simply, he hasn't been truly showing his captain leadership, and a lot has to be questioned for Abate. How much longer could we go with this guy? Because, yes, he's not the player that he has been in the past 4 years ago. I mean, 4 years ago when we won the Scudetto, or 5 years ago now, even 6. He was definitely a different player than now. And why he hasn't returned to that form, simply, I don't know. But if Kuchka does start in that right back position, I could definitely sense some good tactical skills to be implemented in that team. Some of you guys are definitely thinking about implementing the 3-4-3 formation. If you guys are thinking about this formation, what do you guys think, or at least who do you guys think should be playing as a 3 in the back? I'm guessing you're definitely thinking about Romagnoli, Paletta, and possibly either Abate or Kuchka playing in there, or would you actually implement a back three of maybe Zapata, Romagnoli, and Paletta? Lots of options to be desired once again. Let me know what you guys think about who should be playing in that back three. Giuliano Lapadula says, we have to win the next 4 games. If Milan don't win this 4 games, Europe will just be a dream. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I do believe the month of February will be crucial to really see whether Milan will be able to end in the European positions or not. Lots of key games. Other teams will have their games as well. And at the moment, we are back behind certain teams and we're not on level with them. That means that we have to make up some ground. And if we do lose more games, if we lose more points, those teams will be making up even further ground on us. And that will definitely impact our chances of making Europe for next season. Alvin says, I would go for a 3-4-3 with Deulofeu, Lapadula, and Suso up front. Vangioni, Bertolacci, Sosa, and Kuchka in the midfield. Romagnoli, Paletta, Gustavo Gomez in the defense. That's not too bad of a lineup if you ask me, because moving defensively, Vangioni and Kuchka would be forced to move a bit back and help out the defense. So I don't see that as a bad option. Whether Montella will be implementing that option or not, all pretty much remains to be seen. But Vangioni and Kuchka definitely have the style of play to be playing in a 4-man midfield, especially given the fact that they could contribute a bit more to the defense. So I see that as a pretty good decision, at least for the midfield and the back three. Like I said, it all really remains with Montella and whether he will be playing with that formation or not. A lot of you guys, once again, are saying 3-4-3. I definitely agree. Like Alvin said, if that formation will be implemented and will be chosen by Montella, by all means, I would definitely go for that. Alex Genovese says, Joe, do you think we can make it to the Champions League still? I saw your comment a few days ago. I think you asked me the same question, or at least I think you asked if we would make it to Europe. I don't think Champions League is a possibility. Definitely not for us this season. Napoli and Roma are just flying high at the moment, and I simply don't think that we'll be able to reach their level. Like you can see there, Napoli destroyed Bologna 7-1 today. Simply, we are not capable of reaching that level. Napoli scored a stunning 55 goals so far this season. That's just ridiculous, if you ask me. No other team did better than them. And if you look at the statistics, there are 10, 11 goals on top of every other team in terms of goals scored. So definitely, I don't think Champions League is an option for us. Europa League, definitely more than likely, I guess, but we still have to do very good. We have to win a lot of games in this month. Teams like Inter, Lazio, and Atalanta will be our main competitors from now on until the end of the season, and we also have to look out for Fiorentina because they're definitely on the comeback streak there with a lot of positive results in recent weeks. Jaco Taco says Ocampos should be starting. He's got a lot of talent. He will give the team a spark, which it has been missing. I'm actually curious to see Ocampos play. Like I said, more than likely Ocampos won't be getting a start tomorrow, but if he does get some gaming time, I'm very curious to see what Ocampos can bring to the table. I did mention that he's a great tackler. Kind of a weird characteristic to have for a winger, but he's a great tackler and could definitely contribute to the attack. Scored some goals for Genoa this season, but Deulofeu did very good as well in the last few games, at least the ones that he played. Showed some good signs against Juventus in those 10 minutes, and also some very good signs against Udinese after Bonaventura got off due to his injury. So I want to see how much more he could do. It will also be his first game at the San Siro for Deulofeu. So I want to see what kind of reaction he could have under the San Siro crowd and whether they will be supportive of him. And maybe that could push him, to score a goal or something else tomorrow. Giuliano says 5th place is realistic. Well, that's exactly the position that I predicted them to finish in at the beginning of the season. If you guys recall, in that season preview, I did say that Milan ending in 5th place would be my prediction. So that's still my prediction. I still believe a 5th place finish is the most realistic option for Milan. Anything better will be definitely a success. Moving on, Reza says, hey, what player you think we should buy in the summer? Not to get really off topic from this specific video, I did mention over the course of last month, throughout the whole transfer window, who our real targets would be. Lots of targets there, such as Bernadeschi, Keita Balde, Bade still being a target, even Musako in defense. Personally, I would definitely like to see Bernadeschi coming in. If I had to choose one, even Keita Balde would be another great option that we could pick up. And these are players that are specifically known to the league. They know how it works. And it will be very good assets to have in our team, I believe. Some other questions for you from you guys. Jose Montiel also says Ocampos as a left mid in a 3-4-3 could be a solution. Whether Montella will want to throw him in right away, I simply don't think so. Whether Montella will be playing a 3-4-3, I also don't think so. Montella, it seems to be that he likes to stick to one specific formation, and that is the 4-3-3. I wish he was more flexible tactically and he could change formation throughout games. We haven't really seen much from Montella in that regard. He hasn't been really changing formations very much to adapt to certain scenarios and situations in the game. I simply don't know what it is, to be honest. The only time I remember Montella switching formations was against Cagliari when he went to implement that 4-2-4, where we saw a lot of attacking options, which pretty much gave us the game winner in the later stages of the game. But besides that, we really haven't seen Montella being tactically flexible in terms of switching formations, either before games or within games. Are we going to get Casas for the Sampdoria game? No, we won't. He still hasn't given Milan an answer, to be honest. At least that's what I remember reading from recent reports. Milan have been giving him a straightforward salary, which I think was of 250,000, something like that, and bonuses would be applied based on how many games he plays, or based on each game, how he would perform. He would be gaining bonuses. It seems that Cáceres wants more than that, which in my opinion, it's pretty greedy to ask for, specifically concerning the fact that he hasn't played for over a year, so you can't be asking for much. Also, given the fact that it is a 4-month contract. So, you know, at the end of the day, if these players want to come into our house and pretty much take over the situation, you know, it's not players that are really there to play, but players that are just hungry for the money. So I don't think we need players like that if it's for that situation. But Milan will still be going after Cáceres and try to convince him in one way or another. Abdul says, I am surprised that Montella isn't changing formations often, but I think it's mainly due to the mental instability of Milan. Well, mental instability or not, I mean, a lot of people, or at least some people, were saying that, you know, some players should be able to adapt to different formations. I remember someone specific mentioning that Lagarto, he always goes, he's a bit of a controversial guy, I guess, with his comments, but you guys could recall, he was saying, why doesn't Montella switch formations and play different formations, or at least we should be able to switch formations. And whether I definitely agree with that. You know, we should be able to be flexible in changing our formations. But simply, if you take a look at our players, you know, they have been playing this formation all year round, and you still got several problems at this team. A lot of players are not able to cope with certain positions, and I think changing the formations frequently could even put these guys in worsened conditions. What I mean by that is that if they're not capable of adapting to a specific position or formation after all season round, I mean, we're 22 games in, how will these players really be able to adapt to a switch of formation on a continuous basis, on a constant basis, where guys will have to really change position given specific events in the game? I just simply don't believe that a lot of players at Milan are capable to adapt to a variety of formations at a given moment. Whereas teams like they were making comparisons with Chelsea, these guys have players that are capable of playing in whichever role you want to put them in. You know, they have the specific quality to adapt to different formations. qualities that Milan simply don't have. And even though Montella could do a good job with these players, you know, to put them in different formations all the time, I think it's asking a bit too much for these specific players. We need better quality players if you want to be flexible in formations. At the same time, I'm strongly against the thing that I'm not saying at all that we should be sticking to one formation in particular, but what I'm saying is it will make life difficult, in my opinion, on a lot of these players that are not capable to adapt to a variety of formations. That's only my point, but we'll see what Montella really thinks in the long run. It's not only to think about the season as a only option, because Montella will more than likely coach for a number of seasons coming up. Obviously, unless he drastically does very bad. But, you know, these are definitely things that we have to consider moving on forward. Mike Davenport says, another excellent video. Gio, hope we perform like Napoli did tonight. I definitely hope so, buddy. But more than likely, that won't happen. What do I think about Niang's performance today? I haven't watched it. I know that he scored a goal and he assisted another. But a lot of people are already jumping on that bandwagon saying, oh, we should have never loaned him out. We should have never done that. Guys, relax. It's one game. It was against Burnley. I just don't understand people that come to conclusions based on one game. It's always been the same things with some fans, and I just don't understand it. Give it some time. Look at the long run. Look at the long term. You cannot base how a player is going to perform for the rest of the season on one game alone. You have to give him time. So whether or not Niang would be a good player or not for Watford, I will give him at least 10 games to see what he could do, you know. It's crazy. Some people just come to conclusions after one game for Niang. Like, give the guy time and see what he could actually do in the long run. Everyone is lucky and could have a good day. Daniel says, Deulofeu is going to be a gun. I can't wait to see him play for us. And I'm actually curious to see how he performs. Like I said before, at the San Siro. It will be his first game at the San Siro. And I think he's going to do very well. I think he's going to have a strong performance. He definitely needs to have a strong performance. He needs to fill Bonaventura's shoes. So I know he has a lot of responsibility on him. Possibly more than what he was expecting to when he first came in. But this is really what makes great players. And this Deulofeu knows that he's going to have to do a fundamental job all season round if Milan want to get anywhere close in the European position. Alvin says Niang suits EPL more, in my opinion. It's less tactical and he just has to cross and stay in the middle. It's perfect for him. Definitely, I think also defensive contributions is less of a task for him, and that could definitely help him in this game. Whereas for Milan, he also needed to help the defense sometimes, or at least that was his job. He didn't really do it much. But yeah, it's definitely less tactical, and it could definitely suit him more than any other league. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this match preview for Milan Sampdoria. Once again, the kickoff will be tomorrow, February 5th at 12:30 p.m. Italian time at the San Siro. Of course, we will be having our live stream watch along 30 minutes prior to kickoff, and that will be followed by the match review. So make sure you subscribe to Rossoneri TV to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan on a daily basis, and obviously not to miss any of our videos. Lots of content coming out tomorrow, so make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a like, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow for an eventful day. Hopefully a great win for Milan, as we definitely need to start off this month on the right foot. Thank you for watching once again. This has been Gio signing off from Rossoneri TV, and as always, Forza Milan.